Joining me now is Stewart Rhodes. He's the founder and president of Oathkeepers. He's a former Army paratrooper, Washington, D.C. staffer for Ron Paul, and a Yale Law School graduate. He joins us now to talk to us about a recent report that we did here about the federalization of your local police. And he's going to explain to it what it means for your freedom. And apparently, Oathkeepers was mentioned in the article from international.org. Now, this is the group, they're calling for the federalization of U.S. law enforcement. They want it to be beefed up. They want to cover all of America. They're issuing consent decrees that are already being implemented in New York, Newark, New Jersey, Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, California, Ferguson, Missouri, California, Chicago, other municipalities. So, Stewart, how will the federalization of police affect our lives? And what was your take when you initially saw that article and you guys were mentioned?
Well, look, every oppressive regime throughout world history has federalized or nationalized the police. One of the very first things the Nazis did when they took power in Germany is they nationalized the police and put every local police department under the Gestapo. So, it's the same pattern used throughout history, centralized power. I think people need to have a firm conviction that they must keep their local police departments and their local sheriff departments independent and autonomous. And look at Sheriff David Clark, for example, one of the more standout constitutional sheriffs, calling out Obama on his crap and calling out Hillary Clinton. Imagine if he were under the thumb of the DOJ. Imagine if he were under the thumb of the federal government. So you can just imagine the kind of politicization and suppression of autonomy that you would get. And look at what's been done on the Southern Public Law Center, demonizing people right. Just imagine if all of that was coming right out of the DOJ and your local law enforcement not only got the bulletins, but actually had to follow their orders. That's what it would be like. It'd be like having like a Gestapo over your local cops. So we need to have, certainly need to reform the police. There's some problems in the ranks. We should not sugarcoat that, but that reform should not be to leap from the frying pan into the fire and nationalize your cops. And with the UN sticking its nose in with the safe cities and all that nonsense going on, it's not just going to be nationalization, it's going to be internationalization of your police. That's their goal.
Now, this organization,
so we need to resist that.
This organization actually made a false claim about you. Can you clarify that revelation?
Oh, there's the UN reporter that went around at the invitation of the Obama administration, of course, in this little show tour or show investigation, of course, concluding that, yes, the Obama administration is right, everything they say that they should do. All it is a rubber stamp. But anyway, in this report, they claim that Black Lives Matter protesters in Ferguson were intimidated and were fearful because white people, Oath Keepers, that's what they said, were on the roofs of the local police department pointing guns at them. We didn't stand on the police department roof. We stood on the roof of apartments, and we did not point any weapons at protesters. The only people we pointed weapons at were people that were harming other people. One incident, a woman being assaulted by three males in the middle of the night, and some of our guys lit them up with their weapons-mounted lights and told them that they should consider another activity. And they took off and left her alone. So that was the only incident I know of where anyone pointed a weapon, because our guys are very disciplined. Unlike the police in Ferguson, they didn't need to point weapons at people. The police in Ferguson did do that, to a ridiculous degree, which was, seen all over the news media. That was wrong. Our guys don't need to point their weapons at people, unless they're actually going to fire.
Should the American people and local police be seriously concerned about the centralization of police power and then controlling the local municipalities? Or should people say, you know what, we love America, yay, let's do it?
Well, yeah, they should be concerned, because when you don't have independence in your local police department, what you wind up with in the end is a police department that's not accountable to you. It will be accountable only to their bosses in Washington, D.C., in the DOJ. And look at the pattern of the DOJ right now. The FBI declining to recommend prosecution, and the DOJ taking those recommendations to not prosecute Clinton, even though she was caught, with their pants down, obviously committing a felony. If you or I committed a felony like that, where we had put sensitive and top secret documents onto an unsecured server in violation of federal law, we'd be in the pokey, Like Sheriff Clark said, we'd be doing the perp walk. She should be doing the perp walk down her driveway. But because the FBI and the DOJ is so corrupt, it's not going to happen. Now imagine if they have control of your local police department. What kind of accountability are you going to have if your local police department violates your rights if they don't answer to you, they only answer to Washington, D.C.? It's a disaster.
Certainly is. Now, Stewart, we've got some other stuff to get to. Thank you for joining us today, my friends. That was Stewart Rhodes of Oathkeepers responding to international.org and their comments, their false statements about Ferguson. Now, we've like to ask you to hit the link in the description and go to the Oathkeepers website, join their email list, find out more. I'm a subscriber. That's why I get all the information. I can bring it to you. So you can get it before I get it, actually. Now, go to the website, become a subscriber to their email list, and also weigh in the comments section below. Pretty heavy topic, of course, the federalization of the local police. We're already seeing it now. You're not going to see this discussed on the mainstream press. It's just not something you're going to happen. So hit that share button. Push this onto your social media and your email list. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi.